मुंबईमध्ये बऱ्यापैकी हळूहळू आकडा जो करोनाचा आणि ओमायक्रॉनचा आहे तो कमी होताना दिसतोय.
हॉस्पिटल एडमिशन्स पिछली बारी के मुकाबले में बहुत ही कम है, फार एंड लेस, वेरी लेस है. और वैसे भी देखो एक और चीज़ बताऊँ जो पॉजिटिव साइन ये आ रहा है कि पहले डेली जो एडमिशन थे बढ़ रहे थे. अस्पताल के एडमिशन जैसे आज 10 हैं तो कल 15 हैं, फिर 20 हैं, 25 हैं, ऐसे डेली बढ़ रहे थे. अब जाके पिछले 4-5 दिन से बेड जो एडमिशन है वो प्लेटो कर गए हैं. सेम एडमिशन हो रहे हैं पिछले 4-5 दिन से.
Hello everyone, good evening. You're watching News Epicenter with me, Maria Shakil. The Omicron tsunami is sweeping across India with nearly 2 lakh cases being recorded in the last 24 hours, which is the highest since May 2021. Although with the surge, there is this sense that is the worst still to come. But in metropolitan cities, particularly Mumbai, which still today remains a city of concern or a region of concern, there is some silver lining that is being seen in the last few days in terms of the overall number of cases. Amidst this distressing news, there is some good news emerging from the earliest urban hotspots of third wave, Mumbai and Delhi. Talking of Mumbai, the trend shows a drop in daily infections with the cases constantly coming down for 5 days in a row. There were 20,971 cases on Friday, 20,318 on Saturday. It fell further to 19,474 on Sunday. Monday recorded 13,648 and Tuesday 11,647. And the data on positivity rate is also showing a reversal with the number falling for 5 days in a row and coming down to 18.8% today from 29.9% last Thursday. And talking of the COVID situation in the capital, the rapid rise seen over the past 2 weeks appear to have slowed, hinting that peak may be approaching, while the daily positivity rate shot up by 11% between Wednesday and Sunday. The rise has been just 2% between Sunday and Tuesday, indicating that Delhi might not be very far from the peak. This is also in line with what the Sutra model had been predicting about Delhi in particular, saying that Delhi could see a peak in COVID-19 infections around January 15. So we still have 3 more days to go. With the fresh COVID infections coming down rapidly in Mumbai and Delhi's positivity rate coming down, the big question is whether Mumbai and Delhi have seen the worst of third wave and will the situation get better from here onwards. Joining me on the show, Dr. Raman Ganga Khetkar, former Chief Epidemiologist of ICMR. Dr. Ashok Seth is the chairman of Fortis Scott's Heart Institute. We have Dr. Jaleel Parker. He is the pulmonologist at Leelavati Hospital in Mumbai, and Dr. Dilip Mavlankar is director IIPHG. I'm going to begin with you, Dr. Raman Ganga Khetkar. Are you seeing some kind of silver lining, or is it too soon now to predict that the worst could be over for Mumbai?
Yeah, I think it is premature at this juncture to say that it is already peaking out. There are multiple reasons why am I saying that. One thing which has happened is, we have 2 things that are taking place at this juncture. The self-testing kits are also available for people to test themselves at home. And those records will never come into the database that we tend to have. The second issue that we need to remember that the symptoms are so mild that perhaps people may not come forward and test themselves. So at this juncture, when you are facing Omicron, your decline would perhaps be less trustworthy if it is coming from number of cases that you are observing. What is more important for us to understand is the decline can also be best seen if you are seeing decline in hospitalizations, decline in deaths that are occurring because of COVID, and they have to be not 1 day or 2-3 days kind of figures. You have to have a moving average of these figures to actually draw some kind of meaningful conclusion. This doesn't mean that there may not be a
So, are
decline
you
that
of
may
the
be
opinion
happening.
that because of the change in testing protocol overall by the ICMR, that those who should be tested or get themselves tested, that category has changed? That may be the reason why enough people are not getting tested positive.
Yeah, it is possible as a reason because you don't see that breakout of who were what proportion were asymptomatic, what proportion were symptomatic. You do not have those kinds of breakdowns to actually draw some meaningful conclusion. So I would be rather be happy with what is happening, but I would not try to say that it has started declining and people should not worry, because it has two implications. The moment we will say that it has started declining, perhaps whatever proportion of people were actually adhering to COVID appropriate behavior, those who were planning to jump and try to
Okay.
take the second dose of the vaccine, they may not come forward. And that may be far more harmful to my mind rather than anything else.
Okay, Dr. Seth, talking about Delhi and your own experience. Overall, the number of cases may be plateauing, but the positivity rate is very, very high. How are you viewing this? And does it also have to do with a misnomer of sort, which is prevalent right now, that Omicron infection is like a common flu
So I just
or a
say
common cold?
that I think it's very valuable what Dr. Ganga Khetkar has said. For example, I can actually tell you this also, that I know of families where earlier, when anybody would get a fever, sore throat, cough, would actually be getting themselves tested with an RT-PCR. I know of families now where a number of family members are getting affected by the same symptom as the primary person, and yet are not getting themselves tested because they know that all they've got to do is isolate, and usually it's a mild fever and cough and it'll pass by. So let us not live in a euphoria that we're actually seeing a fall in numbers or plateauing numbers. I think that euphoria, none of us can predict, and therefore we've got to be cautious and be very clear that let us watch this for the whole week. And by the way, the number of cases is an important aspect, as said, but the number of admissions will lag behind a few days to the disease process itself.
Yes.
And that's another important aspect. It's not at the same time as they have the fever will they get admitted. So everything lags behind, and therefore it's very important to watch this. You asked me about, is it a mild illness? Is it? Yes, it is usually a mild illness, but there are people who are still getting admitted a few days later for the sake of the virus affecting the lungs. These are far less numbers compared to what we saw in Delta, where invariably most of the people were having some affection of the lungs, mild, moderate to severe, and the severe ones were the ones who were getting affected. In this case, in majority of the instances, it's a mild flu-like illness which does pass off. Having said that, that's not a reason to rejoice. That's only a reason for consolation, because precautions have to continue. It boils down finally to your own immunity. And there are elderly, there are people with comorbid conditions, there are those with low immune responses who are going to get affected, who are going to get more severely affected. There are perhaps those who are unvaccinated or incompletely vaccinated, those who haven't even mounted their responses or whose responses have gone down, and they're going to get admitted, going to get serious, and occasionally some may die. So we owe it to ourselves and to our families, to our children, as well as to our adults and elderlies, to take full precautions and not just rejoice and be casual about the fact that it's mild illness. I agree that we don't want to panic about this Omicron, but the caution and care continues as it was a week ago, as it was 2 weeks ago, and it is going to be expected for a month or two more to go on.
Okay. Dr. Jalil Parker, coming to you now and talking specifically about the city where you are in at present, that is Mumbai. It is being said that perhaps cases have started ebbing as far as Mumbai is concerned, and Delhi may be nearing peak in the next 3 days, as has been predicted by the Sutra model, and that pattern is almost visible at the same time as well, Dr. Parker. Again, tell us about this entire myth around this. Does it have to do anything with hospitalization? There is this sense that overall the hospitalization rate is very low in this particular variant. The nature of infection is relatively milder, and the sense certainly among the epidemiologists and healthcare scientists is that Omicron has largely replaced Delta, and hence that is some kind of good news also going forward.
Well, in my own personal experience and my opinion, I feel that the Omicron virus has been there for the last maybe 4 months or so, because retrospectively, now that when we have known the symptoms of Omicron from other countries, for example, 2 or 3 days of fever, severe sore throat, headache, and a little bit of malaise, has been there with the patients who have come to us on an outpatient basis for the last 4 months. And we haven't tested them. We have given them symptomatic treatment and they have been treated and they've gone back. Now, now that there is a wave of this Omicron, the third wave, what we are calling, the patients do come to us, but we have certain medications that were not there, which have been evolved lately. For example, the monoclonal antibody cocktail. If you give them in the triage area, you don't need to hospitalize the patient, so there is no load on the health system, and they go back home. You give them for 4 hours, and over 6 hours they go back home. So the hospital beds are available for the one who are who are elderly, who are compromised due to, say, renal disease or chemotherapy, diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, etc. So they do get a bed. Yes, the criticality is there for patients who have not taken the vaccine. There's no doubt about it. People who have not vaccinated themselves, who are elderly, who are debilitated, who have severe comorbidities on renal transplant, dialysis, chemotherapy, etc. Yes, it is there, but it's not as bad what we had observed last year. So my message to the people is, please see to it that you vaccinate yourself.
Okay. Dr. Mavlankar, this is an experience that Dr. Jaleel Parker shared with us, that it is not bad in terms of hospitalization that we saw during the second wave, the Delta wave, which certainly was debilitating and very, very disturbing at the same time. Dr. Mavlankar, we have seen how the rural India usually sees this kind of infection or perhaps peak several months later. What we are witnessing in Mumbai, Delhi, Kolkata, Bengaluru right now, other smaller towns or B towns of India, the villages of India will be seeing some kind of an Omicron wave or peak only much later. Does it apply also in this particular wave, or are you of the opinion that it was more, something that we would have seen during the first and the second, because of the nature of the variant? In this one, it may not be as bad?
Maria, I'm sure this will happen again in this wave also, because the virus is the same, even though it has become somewhat milder in clinical manifestations. Plus, the difference between Delta wave and this wave is the community-based immunity, because of vaccination as well as Delta infection is very, very high, especially in the big cities. Whereas in the rural area, the immunity may not be that high. And that is where, as it spreads, you are rightly identified that it will have waves in the rural. First, it will go to smaller towns and then to the rural area. So we have to be still very optimistic, but very cautious in seeing how this wave unfolds. But this is a very positive sign. But we have to be very careful and not let our guard down that these big 2 cities seems to be peaking. But next 2-3 weeks will tell us how the whole curve moves in these and how it spreads to the surrounding areas.
Okay, then in that case, Dr. Ganga Khetkar, are you of the opinion that the Sutra model will be followed by Omicron variant, where 5 to 8 lakh cases could be recorded when it actually peaks all over the country? And also, Dr. Ganga Khetkar, I want to understand, when the perception or common conversation now is that just about everybody will be infected by Omicron at one stage or the other. Are you of the similar opinion?
Yeah, regarding your first first question, part of the question, that whether there would be 5 to 8 lakhs cases reported every day as predicted by one of the models, to my mind, those are two speculative things. When I know that not everybody who is infected is likely to come and find whether they are infected or not, when there are so many variables which would perhaps impact the daily numbers, to my mind it's not something which can be so easily predicted. I would rather say that it would be more than many times than what we have seen as a peak in the second wave that would actually be infected at the time when the peak of this third wave will come. But there is no reason for us to worry. What we should actually be worrying at this point in time is the number of hospitalizations that may occur. What would be the peak of hospitalization? What would be the peak of deaths that would occur? Because this is clearly not the stage where you should be applying your mind to number of cases that may come, because it's essentially something which would be very,
Okay.
very speculative. And okay,
Yes.
hello.
Go ahead, sir.
And what was the
Yes, go ahead,
second
sir.
thing? Yeah, what was the second thing you said? Yeah,
Yes, the
you
perception.
talked
Yes, the
about.
perception
Yeah.
is that just about everybody will be infected by the Omicron. We cannot evade it. We cannot escape it.
No, I wouldn't make those kinds of sweeping statements. I would say that majority of us, perhaps will get infected by Omicron. The one reason we have to remember that even if you vaccinate, the efficacy of these vaccines is lower even when it tends to prevent the infections per se. So Omicron is likely to happen by vaccinating. We just modify the disease process so that the person not have adverse outcome that may come. Now the second issue, that would everybody would get infected, perhaps we cannot speculate much, because the rapidly dividing an organism is, perhaps it will impact
Okay.
all those who are available to be infected. So you cannot predict that all 100% of people would be essentially exposed directly or indirectly. We will have to wait for that figure to arrive. To my mind, people, the virus will hunt for all those who are unvaccinated, hunt for those who are vulnerable to produce adverse outcomes as much as it can. But eventually,
Okay.
all of us will get some kind of infection from Omicron. I don't think that would happen pretty soon. It will take its own time, because the infection will essentially become gradually endemic before it becomes a focal endemic disease.
Okay, Dr. Jalil Parker, even as we speak, the numbers of Mumbai have come in. In the last 24 hours, Mumbai has recorded 16,420 new cases. That is the number that is coming in. And of course, that is a rise from what we had seen on Sunday, Monday, and also on Tuesday, where the numbers were in that range, and it has gone up as well. So are you then saying that when we look at these positivity rates, is it also because the testing overall, people are moving, not just going from their home testing kits, looking at, even if they have mild symptoms or even if they are asymptomatic, who perhaps are in contact with a infected person, they are going ahead with testing, although the testing protocols and overall nature of testing in India has changed?
Ma'am, let's all not be hypocrites and let's come down to stark realities. I think each and every household, and sorry to say that, everybody has started getting COVID because they are using the kit, they are not informing, so the statistical data is going to go haywire. Having said that, that doesn't mean that the criticality is there, because these patients are just taking symptomatic treatment at home. They are isolating themselves for 5 days, 7 days, 10 days, whatsoever. So your statistical data is going to be all fudged. And believe me or not, everyone, every household, somebody or the other has got COVID. We don't come to know. The health authorities do not come to know, because everybody is using the toolkit at home. So what are we talking about? It's not.
Yes.
Is it not right if we say that everybody is going to get COVID? If not today, tomorrow. We have been saying or talking about this for the last 2 years. Everybody knew that someday or the other, each one of us is going to get COVID. We should be happy that now, because of our robust vaccination that the government has taken, we are not getting patients who are really critically ill, very few of them. So one should be happy that if you can treat them home, or they come to the hospital, take the treatment and go back home, so that it does not have a load on the health services of our country and on the health workers.
Okay. Dr. Seth, overall hospitalization rate in India is low. In several cities, we haven't really heard of shortage of beds reports, or shortage of ICU beds, or any kind of shortage in terms of infrastructure. That has not come from any city across the country. Is it also because there is this vaccination drive? India has already given 150 crore doses. The percentage of vaccination in the age bracket of 15 to 18, which has just recently begun, has also gone up. That is certainly coming up as the big shield against this Omicron as well.
Mara, you're absolutely right. It has been the big shield, and India has been, in a way, has had double the shield. There's been enough people who've got infected during the Delta wave and earlier who were not vaccinated at that time, who've been subsequently vaccinated. And luckily, as you know, nearly more than 90% of the country is at least single vaccinated, the eligible population, many of whom have already had COVID earlier. So we are actually seeing a subpopulation which is in a way protected to a great extent from severe disease. And that is what double vaccination does. But in a way, India, as you know, by seropositivity surveys, already had a vast population infected even prior to the vaccination itself. So yes, the second doses, the first dose even acted as a booster for those patients. But having said that, we must remember, yes, it's one of the reasons. Secondly, it's also possible that this is the milder strain, and it's milder for the vaccinated, but also for the ones who only got a single dose itself. But if you see the deaths, and the death data came out, majority of the deaths were happening in those who were unvaccinated. So we have a concern out there, and vaccine is certainly protecting us. And that's why I would say, get your second doses as soon as possible for those who haven't had their second doses. You need them to protect yourself from severe illness. We saw that with the original Wuhan. We saw that with the Alpha. We saw that with the Delta. We will see it with the Omicron as well. And importantly, we must also remember that we got to protect ourselves, not just because we feel it's just minor illness, we'll just have a bit of sore throat, we'll just have a bit of fever, it'll pass by. But till now, we don't know the post-COVID effects of Omicron as well. And for any viral infection, we know that post-viral myalgias, myocarditis, cardiomyopathies, arrhythmias, even sudden cardiac deaths happen even with the mildest of the viruses infection, including flu. We don't know the consequences of this Omicron on post-COVID effects. And the post-COVID illnesses are a whole arena for illnesses, for treatment, for subsequent admissions, for lack of well-being, for over weeks and weeks to months and months. So let us not take anything lightly and think that this is just going to pass by. Let's not just accept the fact that everyone was going to get affected. Yes, it's a viciously spreading virus, But on the other hand, thank God that it's not got enough acute admissions happening. Thank God that vaccine is protecting us, and thank God that we're at least this drive has certainly helped this country. But let us do our own bit. And I always keep saying that. This is the time for us to be sure that we're not going out unnecessarily,
Okay.
for us to be actually having double masks. There has to be a greater emphasis on even celebrities and politicians demonstrating the fact that they're not doing in-person interviews with their masks off, which I see at least the media having their masks on, while our greatest of the celebrities and politicians have their masks
All
off
right.
while doing in-person
All right.
interviews. This is the time
Yeah.
for us to be making sure that we protect our children, protect our parents, and protect ourselves.
Absolutely.
Because this spreads
Absolutely.
very rapidly. Let's not
Dr.
accept it. And by the way, let's not
Thank
sound
you
so knowledgeable about
for sharing your
as
thoughts.
if we
I've
can
really come to
as
the
if we can
end
predict
of this
everything about
discussion. Dr. Raman Ganga-Khetkar, Dr. Seth, Dr. Jaleel Parker, and Dr. Mavlankar, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your thoughts. And as the numbers are suggesting, it may be still too early to really say that the cases are beginning to ebb as far as several cities are concerned. The peak is still several days away. That's all from me. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll be seeing you tomorrow.